people. And when you talk about a rigged economy, that is exactly what Walmart and the Walton family are all about. They pay their workers wages that are so low that the American taxpayer has to pay for the food stamps and the Medicaid that the American taxpayer is paying for the food stamps and Medicaid that many Walmart employees need because their wages are too low. Now, it is a little bit nuts to my mind when the middle class of this country has to subsidize the employees of the wealthiest family in this country. But it is not just wealth. It is not just wealth, it is income. In America today, we have millions of people working longer hours for lower wages. We have families today where mom is working 40 hours, dad's working 40 hours, the kids are working, and they're still not earning enough money to provide for their family. And that is why together we are going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. Together, we are going to end this absurdity of having a national minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Together, we are going to create a minimum wage, which is a living wage, $15 an hour. It is not a radical idea to say that in America, in Kentucky, in Vermont, if you work 40 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty. And when we talk about equitable wages, we are going to end the embarrassment of women making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. I know that every man here is going to stand with the women in the fight for pay equity. In America today, our infrastructure, that is our water systems. I was in Flint, Michigan a couple of months ago, and what I saw in Flint was something that I will never forget, and that is children being poisoned by excessive lead in their water. This should not be happening in this country in the year 2016. But it is not just Flint that has problems with its water. Hundreds of communities have similar problems, but it's not just water. It's our roads and our bridges and our airports and our rail system and our levees and our dams. This is America. Our infrastructure should not be crumbling. And that is why together we are going to invest in rebuilding our infrastructure, and when we do that, we're going to create 13 million decent paying jobs. And when we talk about the needs of the American people, all of us understand that we live in a competitive global economy. And that means that we need the best educated workforce in the world. There is something a little bit crazy when young people go to college, get the best education they can, and then they end up $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 in debt. Anybody here with student debt? Well, in my view, we should be encouraging people to get an education, not punishing people for getting that education. And that is why we're going to do two things. Number one, in the world today, it is no longer good enough to talk about public education being first grade through 12th grade. Truth is that a changing economy and changing technology requires people to get more education. 50 years ago, if you had a high school degree, you were doing pretty well. You can go out, get a job, make it into the middle class. That is not the case today. Today, in my view, when we talk about public education, we must be talking about making public colleges and universities tuition free.
Senator Bernie Sanders making his campaign major points, the points that brought him this far, an impressive point, I should say. And take a look at this. In Indiana right now, with 22% of the vote in, Bernie Sanders has taken a very, very slight lead over Hillary Clinton. He's up by 206 votes. Look at how close it is in Indiana right now. He's got 50.1% of the vote. Hillary Clinton, 49.9%. 206 votes. Bernie Sanders now, for the first time, taking the lead in the actual vote tally in Indiana right now. You see on the Republican side, Donald Trump, the big winner. Let's go over to John King, take a closer look at what's going on right now. John, Bernie Sanders, he's making it very interesting in Indiana right now. He's got a very, very slight lead over Hillary Clinton.
So let's bring it up. You just mentioned 15.1, 49.9, 22% of the vote in. Just a little flashback here. This is not unusual for Indiana Democrats. Remember how close it was in 2008, 51-49? Well, look where we are in 2016, right in the same ballpark as we count these votes. So what are you looking for? Number one, if you're the Clinton campaign and it stays this close, you're hopeful that Gary, Indiana, can get you to the finish line. Notoriously late, Lake County, Indiana, late count. A lot of African Americans up in this community, so Hillary Clinton's hoping that that gives her numbers to help her out. But if you look at the map starting to fill in, you have Senator Sanders winning in a lot of the more rural places as this plays out. I just want to get down to Indianapolis here and check in Marion County to see what the margin is. Very close. For Senator Sanders, this is what you want to do. This is your urban area. You do have some African American community here. You expect Hillary Clinton to win because of the African American base, but if you're Bernie Sanders, if you can keep it that close, we're only at 18%, so we don't know that this is definitive. But if you're Bernie Sanders, you can keep this county, either win it or keep it very, very close. That helps you elsewhere in the state because this is where Secretary Clinton needs to run it up big. That's how Senator Obama kept it close. If you go back in time and look and you come in